What if that green juice and green salad you're having to heal your body is actually loading your liver, stressing your kidneys, quietly inflaming your joints, and making your gut health worse? Well, wellness influencers are not telling you that the excessively high concentration of oxalates in foods like spinach, dark leafy greens, green tea, chia, matcha, green powder, chocolate, sweet potatoes, nuts, and even almond milk is a major toxic burden to your body, especially if you already have a compromised gut and or missing the bacteria that is supposed to break down those hard plant compounds in the first place. So I know you don't want to hear this, but unless you prepare and pair those foods with high oxalates, eating them is actually doing the exact opposite of what you want. Instead of helping you get healthier and feel better, it's quietly making you sicker. Research shows our organs can only process a small amount. So that concentrated green juice made of 2 cups of raw spinach alone delivers about 1,300 milligrams of oxalates in a single sitting. And that's over 26 times the recommended low oxalate threshold in one glass. And this high oxalate load is linked to kidney stones, debilitating joint pain, inflammation, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, brain fog, thyroid dysfunction, depression, conditions that can take years to connect back to what's actually sitting in your blender this morning. And honestly, this is something that really annoys me because it makes nutrition so confusing for everyone. Now, let me know out there, is this how you feel? Eat this, don't eat that. One of the reasons is that people aren't telling you the full picture. And it comes down to how these foods are prepared, how much you eat, and what they are paired with. That transforms them from harmful into healthy. And that's what I'm covering here today. And that's also my job and my obsession as a clinical nutritionist and chef, to find real answers and simplify them into solutions that fit into everyday busy lives for my clients and also for myself. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Leilani and I'm here to improve your gut health bite by bite. The reality is that humans did not have blenders or juice pressers for the vast majority of our evolution. We just didn't eat like that. And our organs cannot process these harmful plant compounds, defense compounds, at that concentration. But here's the part that I love. With some basic preparation or smart additions to your meals that really take just a few minutes, you can turn these foods from a daily toxic load into a genuinely healing, nourishing meal that give you the benefits they promise. Ancient food wisdom understood this. That's why I study it and I'm here to pass it on to you and my clients. So before I get into the top oxalate foods and how to enjoy them without poisoning your insides, you need to know just the basics here. That oxalates are a natural compound found in many plant foods. In small amounts, a healthy body with a robust gut microbiome can actually handle them completely fine. But since the explosion of antibiotics and pesticides and chemicals everywhere that kill our beneficial bacteria in our gut, almost no one has good gut health anymore. And I'll get to solutions on that in a second. So I want you to think of oxalates like an ox. No, like a bull in a paddock. One bull is completely manageable, right? There's plenty of space, your body knows what to do with it, but then you stack spinach smoothie at breakfast, cacao, nut butter blended in, a raw salad for lunch, sweet potato for dinner, and now you have hundreds of bulls competing in that same paddock, crashing into each other, breaking through the fences, or in this case, your gut wall, and circulating toxins back through the body. This is what oxalate overload does. And oxalates also behave like thieves. They grab onto nutrients like calcium, magnesium, iron, zinc, and they drag them out of your body before you can absorb them. So even when you're eating beautifully nutritious food, you'll be absorbing far less than you actually think. So how do you reduce oxalates in the top offenders? Let's talk about spinach and dark leafy greens. The research is really clear on this. Boiling spinach reduces soluble oxalates by up to 87%, because oxalates directly leach into the cooking water, and the boiling beats steaming every time. Here's the issue with raw spinach. When you blend it, you concentrate it and you remove the fiber matrix, or you break it down. You deliver a far bigger hit than you would receive from the whole food and eating it cooked. So the best way to prepare it, because I'm not saying don't eat spinach, is chop your spinach first, about 1 centimeter pieces, boil it to discard the water, and then this is when it gets really delicious. You pair it with a quality dairy or calcium. Cheese, aged cheese, butter, full-fat yogurt. The calcium actually binds to oxalates inside the gut before they reach the bloodstream and escort them safely through your stool or your poop. This is why feta and spinach make biochemical sense. Sag paneer, creamy spinach with parmesan, boiled greens with butter. I mean, ancient food cultures built these pairings without even knowing the mechanism. Now you do. And if you want to know the best cheeses and dairy to eat, because yes, quality matters, then check out the 2 talks I'll leave at the end of this video. Let me know in the comments, what is your favorite greens dish? Right, practical swaps. You can rotate it, right? So spinach, instead of spinach, maybe some rocket or bok choy or cos lettuce, mustard greens on the other days. They're just naturally lower in oxalates. Okay, so let's move on to potatoes and sweet potatoes. I mean, sweet potato has become one of the most recommended gut health foods online. And here's the fascinating thing. One of the world's longest living populations, the Japanese Okinawans, actually ate sweet potato almost 70% of their total calories. So sweet potato is not the enemy. It's the way most people eat it. So baking them whole with the skin on or in an air fryer is one of the highest oxalate delivery methods possible. And here's why. A large concentration of the oxalates and in potatoes are near the skin. And baking, unlike boiling, traps the oxalates inside the food rather than letting them leach out. So research specifically found that baking potatoes produced no oxalate loss, while boiling potatoes reduced oxalate content by up to 87%. Traditional cultures understood this. So the fix here, you're going to peel them, you'll boil them in plenty of water, discard the water, and then pair it with a quality fat source. Sensitive word, I know, but say yogurt, maybe creme fraiche or butter. And that's if you tolerate dairy, because these calcium sources then bind to the remaining oxalates in the gut before the absorption. The next is one of the most documented health foods that can actually be an oxalate bomb. But I'm sure you've been wondering why there are so many food intolerances in the world now. Nuts, gluten, even vegetables now. But one of the reasons for that impact is antibiotics. And antibiotics have had on our gut microbes that defend our bodies. So if you've taken antibiotics before, and let's be honest, who hasn't? Even I have on the rare occasion when I've really needed it. You may not even have the bacteria that are supposed to break down the oxalates. So Oxalobacter formigenes, it's basically an oxalate vacuum cleaner inside your gut. But antibiotics are highly damaging for this species. Research shows that even one course can significantly reduce their numbers. So if you are taking antibiotics or have in the past, check out this talk that I did, How to Protect Your Gut During and After an Antibiotic Course. So it does not leave you susceptible to even more problems in the future. Right, food number 3. Let's talk about the nuts, seeds, and beans. As a nutritionist, I eat all of these a lot of the time. But raw almonds, cashews, chia seeds, eaten unsoaked, are one of the highest combined digestive disruptors most people are eating. So do you get bloated and gassy with beans? You definitely will if you're not preparing them right, because soaked dried beans overnight in water actually does significantly reduce oxalates. And you can even find in the cans, it has on the label soak, because research shows on pulses, the soaking can reduce soluble oxalates by up to 50%. You just have to discard the water afterwards. Don't cook it in that water. So if legumes bloat you heavily, soaking is not an option. It is the preparation step that changes how your body handles it. Now, here's the honest science on soaking nuts, because I want to be accurate with you. The oxalates in nuts are mostly insoluble, which means that they don't leach into the water the same way the spinach oxalates do. So soaking nuts specifically for oxalate reduction has limited peer review support, while soaking does improve the digestibility profile and it makes the nut much easier for your gut to digest overall. So that does matter, particularly if you have a compromised digestive system. And I have put together activated like a pro cheat sheet with the best additions methods for every nut, seed, and bean type to turn them basically into a vitamin pill. It's print ready. Mine is on my fridge. It's inside my Free Gut Love community club. The link's down below. It's one of the resources I wish someone had given me years ago. Now, so the smoothie with almond milk and cacao, it does the actual opposite of what you want, because almond milk in itself is high oxalates and you're not providing the calcium that binds to them. So you're just stacking the load. So you may want to switch up your milks here, particularly your alternative milks, and not get the same one every day. So the most evidence-based strategy for nuts is, again, pairing them with a calcium source. So having them a handful of nuts with some quality cheese or yogurt stirred through maybe your breakfast cereal. And coming up next are two staple food groups I know you've been waiting for: chocolate and tea. But first, if what we've covered today is sounding familiar, the fatigue, the joint pain, the bloating, the feeling of being reactive to so many foods, what most people need to understand that it's not needing more of these superfoods a lot of the time. It's actually needing a short-term, low reactive reset. So a 2 to 4 week protocol to stop the daily load, right? So calm the inflammation response, give the gut a real chance to repair, followed by a gut building phase where we bring the good foods back in with meal plans built around the meals you actually want to eat, the recipe guides, cooking classes, and an honest breakdown on what the research actually says versus what Instagram says. So this is a real roadmap that I've created for someone who's actually wants to feel better. So more information in the description below. If you feel like you've been stuck in this cycle long enough, I'd love to help you out. Moving on to the two daily staples, at least for me. And I used to wonder why I would feel nauseous when I just drank black tea or have bitter chocolate. And it's because cacao powder is one of the highest oxalate foods per gram that exists. That doesn't mean dark chocolate is a bad food. Yeah, and you don't have to give up the chocolate and the tea. I'm not saying that. You just need to pair them the way the previous generations have, like tea with milk or homemade or hot chocolate with full-fat dairy instead of almond milk. A small piece of dark chocolate after a meal that had dairy in it can help. So let's bring it all home. The problem is never just the food. The problem is the load, the pairing, and the preparation. And we are all carrying a toxic load in this modern world already. The environmental chemicals, the chronic stress, the processed food systems that we've got, and the choices that you make in the kitchen absolutely make a big difference. If this video helped you see something you haven't seen before, hit the like and subscribe button. That one click helps me show up for you every single week. That's science-backed and practical, and perfection is not required. Just one step at a time. We are genuinely in this together, and I'm here to help. As mentioned, if you want to know the best dairy for your gut that actually boosts microbiome health, check out these videos right here. Until next time, love your guts.